Why hello, internet person. I see you're looking to improve the way you learn to code. I'm going to show and explain how I teach myself to code. It'll vary from person to person, but I hope I can be of help. This video does expect for you to know at least a bit on how to code, just because it's not the very basics of coding. It might help if you're new, but I recommend getting the basics down first. I'll timestamp the different sections of the video for you, just in case I ramble on too much or you want to get to some specific section. So enough talk, let's get on with the video. So this will be done in 3 steps: figuring out what you need to research, doing the research, and implementing that research. So to figure out what you need to research, first off you need a clear goal. You can be making a character controller, making, I don't know, a shooting mechanic, anything. You just need that one mechanic to figure out what you need to learn. Then there are many ways of figuring out what you need to know. There's Friends, Unity, Visual Studio, Stack Overflow, Reddit, Teacher, anything. So with Friends, if you have friends who are knowledgeable enough on how to code and won't outright give you the answers, that would be great help. So pretty much whenever you ask them for help, don't let them give you the answer. Let them guide you towards an answer, give you some small hints, but not outright write the code. Then Unity. Getting comfortable with Unity is very important. Let's create a 3D object here, a cube. You've got all these things here. If we were to add, let's say, a rigid body, then we've got all these things in code. These tabs right here, I'm going to minimize all of them so you can see. These tabs will be referenced, probably. You've got your transform, you've got your mesh filter, mesh renderer, collider, rigid body, and then inside of those you've got all the other variables which you can edit. And then here in Visual Studio, you'll see that when you type stuff out, so let's say rigid body, you'll get all these texts here, all this text here. So you can create a rigid body just with rigid body and whatever you want to call it. You get your rigid body dot whatever you want, so you can get the constraints, drag, game object, everything. If you don't know what those are, then that's the research part of this. But going through all these is the important part of Visual Studio and learning what you need to learn. Then we've got Stack Overflow, Reddit, and whatever other forum you can find. These are good, however they usually just give you the answer, so I'd say read around, look for some terms. So again, rigid body, this is just the example I'm going with right now because it's easier. And once you find those terms, then you can research those terms. Try things for yourself. Then there's a teacher. Hopefully they're good at writing code, teaching code, and I'd say that would be the best option if you can get one, because they usually set up a course in a way where you will be able to learn the basics first, and then get to the point where you will know what you need to know. And finally, YouTube. YouTube, I'd say, is the same issues as Stack Overflow and Reddit and other forums, but it's a lot easier for the YouTuber to usually just outright give the answer. So if you're watching YouTube, again, just don't follow along exactly what they're doing. Just try to get some ideas based off of what they're writing and what they're doing. I myself am going to do my best to teach instead of tell, but it's your judgment, so if you want to watch the other videos, go ahead. If not, there's plenty of other options. Alright, now there's how to research. Now, Unity documentation, that's filled with everything you will need to know. It'll have syntax, what's required and what's optional. It'll explain how everything works. So Unity documentation has been my best friend. And then here in Visual Studio, you've got the hints again. So let's say body.transform.position. And it's already telling me what to write here, as you can see. New vector 3. But then if you hover your mouse over these, it'll tell you that you can write stuff inside of it. In this example, we can do 1, 1, 1, and there you go. As you can see in the little hover icon, you've got float x, float y, float z, and it'll give you a little explanation. Now for those overloads that you can see at the end, that comes with the Unity documentation, so you're going to need to use a mix of the two, but overall it's a huge help. And then more things for how to research my videos, YouTube videos. I'll do my best to explain how everything works, but for some people it might not work, or you just want to do it some other way, which totally fine. And then there's friends. Again, it's if they can explain it well, then yes, they're a good resource, but if they can't explain it well and they just tell you what to do, then it's not too great of a resource. And again, Teacher. They will have a course outline for you. They're going to tell you everything you need to know in the order that you need to know it, so they can be a very big help. I myself have gotten great teachers over high school and college, so I've been quite lucky with that. For the final step of implementing the research, that's just writing the code. There isn't much else to say about it. Just test the code, see if it works. If it doesn't work, then go back a couple steps. Alright, that is all. Remember, it will take a lot of time and probably a lot of reading, trying, failing, trying again, but eventually you'll get there. Remember that your code doesn't have to be fully optimized. Just see if you can get it running first, and then worry about optimization if you want. Alright? Thank you for listening, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye!